Alright, hey guys, and welcome back to another Chocobo Bites video, a channel dedicated to small, bite-sized discussions and guides for Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis. So today I want to talk about my favorite character, Red XIII. Now I do want to warn you, and as you can see here by my stats, he is at 76,000 power, and that is because when I first started playing this game, I decided from day one, before I even went into my first battle, that I was going to make Red XIII my main character. All my resources would go into him, all my pulls would be dedicated towards his weapons. Essentially, I was going to go really hard for Red XIII because the tier lists at the time were saying he was kind of lower tier. I like Red XIII as a character, and I kind of like the way his kit was looking, and I love regen style healing over time abilities, so I was like, you know what, I'm going to make this my main character, and I'm really glad I did, because today in this video, I'm going to talk to you guys about why I think Red XIII is secretly, or maybe not so secretly anymore, since people are finally starting to discover just how good the Seaside Collar is, why I think he is a S tier character. So, first let's talk about, I guess, the thing that most people are curious about. How good is the Seaside Collar? And as you can see here, I do have this leveled up to 1 pink star. And the reason why this is so important is because if you look right over here, it makes the first cast of this have a high potency. Now, what does this mean? If you're unfamiliar with the potency stuff, that essentially means when I use this, it will apply the maximum debuff on the first application instead of having to apply it 2 or 3 times. So that is a huge deal. That means I can cast this once and the enemy is going to have a huge thunder resist decrease. Now, a lot of people will probably say, well, this is only good against thunder enemies, and you would be right, but when you bring Red XIII into a boss fight where the enemy is weak against lightning, and you bring a Cloud, and you bring, say, a Glenn that has a thunder blow, or you bring a Tifa that has her thunder weapon, or you bring Aerith with a thunder weapon, there's a lot of characters that can utilize thunder, you will absolutely blow through the content. Now, there is an intricacy with the Platinum Collar, and I have a lot to say about Platinum Collar, so I'm going to get into that next. And it just pairs so well with the regen ticks, right? So let me just tell you, for those of you that are curious, yes, the Seaside Collar is as good as you might think it is when it is, you know, kind of starred up a bit. From here on out, it just gains more duration, but I'm not too concerned about that. I'm very happy with where it is. Also with the R abilities, it's got a really nice R ability with HP and lightning potency. So I can tell you this weapon is worth pulling for, absolutely. It pretty much trivializes any content where the boss or enemy is weak to lightning, and there are a lot of bosses and a lot of content in this game where the bosses are weak to lightning, and you will plow through it. Just think of it this way, right? Say you apply lightning resistance down. All 3 of your teammates that now have lightning abilities are going to be dealing a ton of extra damage. And while that's happening, you get to use Platinum Collar, which is one of the reasons that I really feel Red is being sort of just passed up on. A lot of people think that this is one of the weakest healing items in the game, but I am going to tell you, I think this is one of the strongest. It's just that people haven't realized the true application of how to use Platinum Collar to its fullest. So let me try my best to explain this to you. Right now, a lot of people are saying Aerith is the best healer in the game, which is probably true. She is still really good, but if you pair Red XIII with Aerith, and my main party is Cloud, Red XIII, and Aerith as my main group, it makes Aerith so much better because the regen heal that applies from this can really keep your party topped off. So think of it this way. This is a good heal in a single boss fight where you're fighting one enemy, but in the scenarios, especially in the later content, you're starting to fight a lot more instances with 3 enemies. And what happens with 3 enemies is, instead of one boss where they apply like one big attack every 5 seconds or so, which Aerith can very easily heal up herself, when you're dealing with a group of enemies, they're attacking individually, they're attacking at different times. So what happens is, let's say Aerith applies her heal, it tops everybody off, and then you apply the regen heal with the Platinum Collar here. As the enemies are pecking away at your characters, the regen is ticking them to full. So let's just say Cloud gets hit for 300 damage, and the regen ticks him back up to full, and the regen is still going, and another enemy hits him for another 200 or 300 or 400 damage, and then the next regen ticks him up to full as well. So I think Platinum Collar is completely overlooked when it comes to hard content that involves more than one enemy. So any boss fights or hard fights in general that has a lot of AoE damage being dealt out, or more than one enemy that's picking off at your characters, I think Platinum Collar is potentially on the same tier as Aerith's Curaga. Now, I will say that Aerith will probably still win out overall because her heals are just so busted and good, but when you pair this with an Aerith Curaga, it is unmatched, and I can clear most content in the game very easily without any fear, auto battle, whatever have you. So I can probably do another video in the future on Platinum Collar once I get it. I just need one more star to be able to get it to 15-second duration. Right now it's 12, which would bring it up to 5 ticks. 5 ticks of about, on average, about 300 heal per tick. And that is just going to be so good. I've been bringing Red XIII in all my co-op matches as well, and he performs exceedingly well, especially in co-op fights that have stuff that is weak to lightning. Now, another reason why I think he is definitely worthy of S tier is his 2 limit breaks are very versatile. Sledfang can be a little outclassed when it comes to online co-op content because most bosses right now do resist physical attack and magic attack down, but in normal solo play content, most bosses as of right now are not resisting these debuffs, and it applies a mid debuff, which is really potent to apply the 2 of them at once to a boss. You do have characters like Tifa that will sort of debuff either physical attack or magic attack, but it is nice to just have a sort of all-in-one, because some bosses do have physical, some bosses do have magical in their same kit. And then you also have Lunatic High, which I also do think is going to be overlooked. There are other characters such as Matt that have a similar ability where it just increases your physical and magical defense mid-potency for, 15 seconds, not too bad at level 6. The reason why I think this is also pretty good is eventually in some boss fights you're not going to be able to always break the sigils in time, and you're going to take some hits, and that will just kind of soften the blow a bit. So I do think his limit breaks are nice and versatile as well. Now, there is one more thing that I forgot to bring up about the Seaside Collar, and that is this right here, Sigil Boost 1. X sigils defeated by sigil materia during attack shift count +2. This is huge because so many bosses right now are weak to X sigil, and Cloud himself, when he uses his Muramasa or his lightning blade, I'm sorry, it's super late right now, I'm forgetting the exact name, the Muramone, forgot. That only deals triangle sigil destruction, so this has a really good coverage for X sigils, which is not to be overlooked by any means. So when you can bring a Red XIII to the fight and destroy X sigils like no tomorrow and bring down lightning resistance, man, if you can find a boss that's weak to lightning and X sigils, he just rips through them. In terms of sub-weapons, I kind of just build them out with some HP and defense and a little bit of attack. Obviously, this is more for a solo build. But yeah, that's just like a quick rundown on Red. I feel like in future content, if they continue to... Well, actually, before we get into that too, let me just show you his other collar. There's one more collar that I feel like is being slept on right now, which I do not have. And it is the gold collar. Now, this is one that will make AoE farming really nice. This is, I think, right now the only weapon in the game that applies an AoE magic defense decrease. So if you compare this with like a magic-based Aerith and say one more AoE magic-based character, you will be able to tear through any content that requires quick AoE clearing. So I do think this is a weapon that is kind of being passed up on. I don't have it, so I can't really test it. A lot of his collars do look super similar, so it's kind of hard to like pick through them and be like, oh, I know what this one is. Noble Collar is a AoE magic collar. I don't have that one either. Rage Collar here is really strong. So this goes up to, I believe, 750. Yes, fire damage to a single enemy, super duper strong. And look at that boost attack. That is the highest boost attack R ability in the game as of right now, and a lot of fire potency. So if you're looking to destroy things with fire, that is probably one of the S tier, highest tiers in the game for fire damage. Rubber Collar is just a normal single target heal, and then Junk Collar is a magic attack decrease. Nothing too special. The thing that really makes Red is his Platinum Collar, his Seaside, and also arguably the Gold Collar. Anyway, guys, I just wanted to kind of bring some more attention to Red. I will definitely be doing a lot more talking about Red in the future, but I did want to get some information out there and kind of make some of you maybe think about building him in the future. So thanks for watching. If you enjoy this type of content, be sure to subscribe to the channel. I specialize in shorter, more specific style content such as this. So be sure to check us out and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you very much for watching.